Good morning, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Let's unlock the tricks of the trade from managing the economy to starting and growing a business, only here on Trade Talks. Let's get down to business. The art of photography continues to evolve, and more people are getting lured into the art form with technological advancements, even in cell phone cameras that can capture crisp images with a proper skill. Today we will talk about the photography as an art and as an enterprise in the Philippine setting. Joining us today is Veejay Villafranca. He's the co-founder of FotomotoPH. It's an organization of photographers. Welcome to the program, Veejay.
Good morning, Mai. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. So first of all, let's talk about Fotomoto. What is it all about? Describe to us what it is. And I understand, as you told me off-cam, this is not just for photographers. There are many creatives involved.
Correct. So Fotomoto was founded by a collaborative group of artists, photographers, writers, curators, with one common goal, in promoting photography, particularly photography in the Philippines and by Filipino photographers.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, it's not just for photographers. You have creatives, all sorts of artists, writers as well. Tapos yung vision nyo for your organization, what is it?
Yun, I think our main goal is to promote photography and by Filipino photographers as well, practicing the art form, practicing different types of photography, by providing a platform to show work initially, to talk about the different facets of photography, to talk about, I guess, the business side of photography, and other aspects, including visual language, visual literacy, and also professional matters.
So I guess it started during the pandemic, no? What have you done for your space so far? Describe to us how you've grown as a group for the past 4 years.
It was interesting because we used to do photography exhibitions and other projects independently of each other. We all know, I mean, the photography community in the Philippines is somewhat a close-knit group of a close-knit community. So from the pandemic, we showed in different commercial spaces, particularly in Makati. And from there, we moved to Quezon City in the University of the Philippines Fine Arts Gallery. And recently, we joined again the Art Fair Philippines to show work. No? And we initiated and we curated different photography shows and programs together with our partners.
Wow, the art fair. Okay, since you've mentioned the art fair, we can talk about the art fair. How was it? How was your participation, and how have you seen it grow as well?
Yun, as I mentioned, we did do different photography programs in the past, independently of each other. And then we started collaborating, I guess, in 2019. And then from there on, when Fotomoto was established, we made it a point to join the art fair every year and continuously show photography and works by Filipino photographers and photographers in the Philippines as well. We feel that there's a lot of space, no? To show work, to show photographic work, but also at the same time to highlight specific issues that evolves around the photographic community.
Yeah. And your space, it has grown, you know, since the first time you've joined the art fair. Ngayon, parang you've curated more exhibits for them, right?
Correct.
Ikwento mo sa amin paano nangyari.
So this year we were given a bit more space. We started with the Open Call, one of Fotomoto's pioneer programs. The Open Call received over 1,000 images last year. And this year, we were given the space by Ayala Museum to show over 100 works by different photographers. We had that, and then we had Centerfold, another exhibition inside the Ayala Museum. Then we had a State of Flux exhibition at the lobby of Ayala Museum, curated by Angel Shaw. And then for the art fair itself, the specific programming for art fair was Kuha. The Fotomoto booth was entitled Kuha, curated by Kokoy. And then we also activated different parts of Makati. For example, the underground, the underpass. If some of you have seen, there were a lot of exhibitions and there were screens, no, displayed.
Even
in the
there, dun sa walkway.
Correct.
Ah, ang galing.
So we activated that, curated by one of our co-founders, Tom Epperson. And then in Greenbelt Park, two of our co-founders, Jason Kibilan and Neil Ishima, installed the camera obscura. Basically, the technology behind all of the cameras that we see today is an obscura. So they installed like a tent that people can go in and experience what happens inside the camera.
Wow. So, wow, it's very different this year. It's like you can see art everywhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is what we're saying, that when we talk about the different facets of photography, we try to activate it and we try to, I guess, make people experience the different ways on how we create images.
It's immersive, no?
Correct.
Okay, so describe to us yung mga artists ngayon. Have they changed much? Mas diverse ba yung mga profiles nila?
I guess it goes with the history of photography in the Philippines. We're quite young compared to maybe in the region, in Southeast Asian region. So the photographers in the Philippines is starting to actually show more work. There has been a lot of efforts and continuous efforts by different organizations and groups in the Philippines, mainly in the Metro Manila or Luzon areas. But also there has been a lot of work coming out from different parts of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So this is something that we're very interested in, and we're very happy to take part of, and maybe provide a little bit of platform so that other photographers can show their work and talk about their work, their methodology, their inspirations, and so on.
Vijay, what is the outlook for Philippine photography?
Wow, that's a heavy question, but
And what support do we need, yung photographers natin right now?
there was a report recently, I think in 2023, that the visual arts sector contributed over 500 million pesos in the whole of the creative industries, the MSMEs. So photography played a big part in that. I think what we need still is to talk about the rights of photographers, the rights of usage of photographs, where do we use photographs, how do we use photographs, and also the rates.
Yes.
Professionalization is very important, not only in the city centers, but also in the regions. So,
When you say professionalization, what exactly is it? Ano ba yung kailangan?
so for professional photographers who mainly rely on photography for their livelihood, they are covered by the rights. I think it's under the Constitution as well. So all authors and artists are covered by this law. And I hope, and this is something that we in Fotomoto try to pursue also, is that we talk about it and continuously fight so that photographers, especially the ones independent, who are not attached to any big agencies or companies, are also protected. They're given the fair right of fees, fair usage, and also opportunities as well.
Okay, when you say opportunities, what are the... Kanina pinag-uusapan natin off-cam yung the common path for photographers right now is, publications, and also you mentioned so-called salon photography. But what is, describe to us what that is, and also what is the alternative?
As I mentioned, photography has different facets and specializations. So what we commonly see in the newspapers, magazines, and now online publications is the path of editorial photographers, documentary photographers, photojournalists, and other photographers who's more in tune with, I guess, publishing work and creating stories. There's also the photography industry wherein they're more interested in the other ways, like, for example, wedding photography, commercial photography, and events, music, and so on, entertainment, fine art as well. So all of these sort of disciplines compose of the Philippine photography industry / community. I guess what is needed is, I think, support, for example, in terms of not only showing work, but also discussing what goes into the photographic sort of practice. So each photographer, before they become a professional, have to go through several, I guess, stages. For example, training, and also creating a portfolio, body of work, and then presenting it to whoever you want to work with. As for the alternative, I think what has happened in the last few years is that photographers, especially the independent photographers, became part of smaller communities. That what you want to do is to work for the big agencies, big publications. But since the landscape of journalism, print journalism, and broadcast journalism has changed, napunta yung iba to smaller communities. They still want to produce photographic work or lens-based work, pero the opportunities shifted. So what happens now is that the smaller communities thrive and fulfill this sort of want or specific parang practice by photographers.
Vijay, is there an association or a group for professional photographers?
There's quite a few in the Philippines. In terms of the salon photographers, there's a lot of camera clubs, which is basically a part of the Philippine photographic history. So sila yung mga nauna that established themselves as a group. But also at the same time, there are professional groups like the Press Photographers of the Philippines, Philippine Center for Photojournalism. There's also other institutions that help photographers who are dealing with more editorial and news-based, I guess, practices.
So can you describe to us what is the business landscape of photography like right now, and when and how do you start monetizing art?
I guess I think the business of photography starts when you decide for yourself that I really want to pursue this, not only as a means of livelihood, but also you feel that you have something to say and something to create. So that sort of fused together is sort of the start wherein you try to find a specific, I guess, organization that you would want to work with and later on grow with. No? But then there has been an uptick or increase in independent photographers. So the independent photographers are the ones with the, I guess, bigger challenges because you have a challenge of yung livelihood aspect, earning from it. At the same time, upskilling. Once in a while, you have to attend workshops, attend talks as well. And then later on, how do you, I guess, expand your practice to keep going for so many years? And then most of the time, for example, what we do in Fotomoto is to actually provide smaller platforms. For example, in the recently concluded Fotomoto Talks, Island Talks with Ayala Museum, we invited international speakers who are also experienced in similar industries, in photographic industries. For example, in Indonesia, in Singapore, and also in South Korea. So we did talk about different facets of freelancing or what is happening in that part of the region and what are their best practices and challenges. As for challenges, we have quite a few. As I mentioned earlier, the rates and the professional practice needs to continuously improve and talked about.
Okay.
And the rights of photographers as well has to be implemented and upheld. And also digital challenges, for example, the rise of AI and computer-generated images and so on.
We will delve more into that, so much more to talk about, but we have to take a very short break. Trade Talks. We'll be right back. And we're back on Trade Talks. We're still with Fotomoto co-founder Veejay Villafranca. Veejay, so I'd like to talk about if you want to make this your main source of income, photography, what is the support available?
We mentioned earlier that there are groups that support a specific part of or type of photography.
But the ones guiding them on how to monetize?
There are a lot. So there are workshops available, different types of workshops, from technical workshops to operate a camera, doing editing work. And also there are other workshops that delve into the visual language. So for example, you want to be a visual journalist or a photojournalist, or you want to be an editorial photographer. So there are also workshops and talks that are available.
What is the competition like among the photographers right now in the photography business?
It's quite tough. Competition in terms of, I think there's a lot more photographers now than before, because we consider other practitioners that have, for example, camera phones, also photographers. And at the same time, the rise of the online influencers, for example, the vloggers, all of those are actually part of our competition.
So how do you cope in terms of traction with those who include videography in their services?
I can only speak for myself. I think I still rely on the strength of a still photograph, that it is more intimate and it draws more, I guess, thought process, or not only thought process, but generally you have to look at it intently in terms of engagement. And also with the platforms available, there are still a lot of online platforms and publications that rely on still photography and rely on the power of the still photograph.
I'd like to ask you now, what is your take on NFTs, diba? Remember during the pandemic, you've seen a lot of NFTs, like it was the height of their popularity.
I had good friends who was into it. I cannot say much about it. I did read a lot about non-fungible tokens. What I can actually say is that the technology behind it, which is the blockchain technology, hopefully they will find a way to help photographers, most especially independent photographers, and provide a platform for photographers to show their work and maybe even monetize their work. Because I think the rise of the NFTs was also together with, it came together with the idea of it being an investment. If you know, that's how I understood it.
Now there's a lot of AI, diba? So your take on AI-generated photography and how do you stay relevant?
It is a threat, most especially in the industry of news industry, in journalism. There's a lot of talks recently that delved into this topic. I think for me, to remain authentic to the still image, I think one must be very discerning. As viewers, for example, you must be very discerning of the images that you consume. Most especially if it comes along with if it goes along with an important story or a breaking news story, for example, or even other stories. AI will be here. I think it's here to stay. It is a technology, but at the same time, as photographers, we are also hoping that the bigger sort of industries, bigger companies and organizations will help us safeguard the authenticity of an image.
So Veejay, where do you see Fotomoto in the next 5 years?
So for our open call this year, we hope to bring it to different parts of the Philippines. We're hoping to reach Mindanao this year. We've done a lot in Luzon and in the Visayas. Hopefully we can share these works in Mindanao and hopefully encourage more photographers from that region as well to join. We continue with our mission of promoting photography and Filipino photographers by our workshops, which is the atelier, and our community programs.
Okay, so now rapid fire questions for you, Veejay. Which do you prefer, portrait photography or landscape photography?
Landscape.
Colored or black and white?
Black and white.
Film or digital camera?
Digital camera.
Bakit nahirapan ka doon?
Because I do both.
Okay. So any events lined up for you guys for the next few months?
So Fotomoto Island just wrapped at the Ariala Museum and the Art Fair. I think we're moving up north. I can't confirm yet fully, but I think we have an exhibition up north. And then sometime mid-year, I think around August or September, we're going to the Visayas as well. and hopefully by the fourth quarter, we'll be in Mindanao.
So for aspiring photographers out there who want to join, for the creatives, where do they find you?
You can follow us through our social media accounts and our website, or in Instagram and in Facebook, FotomotoPH.
All right, watch out for their events. Thank you, Veejay, for joining us today. And that's it for today's show. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Stay up to date on the latest in business and the economy here on Trade Talks. Catch us again tomorrow, only here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.